Hello again, Diane Morrison, back for day 3 of the 30 Days, 30 Authors Challenge. And today on my live post, I'm going to be talking about my blog, which is kind of a laugh, really, because this would not be blog singular. This would definitely be blogs plural. One of the things that I do to get myself out there and to try to earn some extra income as a writer is that I am a professional blogger and I blog for a few different websites. So I'll start by talking about my personal blog, which I started actually not that long ago, and that's dianemorrison.wordpress.com, and I'll put all the links in the video description afterwards. And that one is when I decided to put myself out there as a fiction writer under my actual legal name. I set up that blog so that I could talk about, my writing and tips for other writers and share things like, stuff that's specific to science fiction and fantasy writing, like world building and, how to create realism in your fantasy settings and stuff like that. And occasionally I share things like what the Jupiter mission is doing and science that goes on the space station and information that we're discovering in quantum physics and other things which are likely to make it into my writing or spark a plot line at some point. So there's a bunch of different things that I do for that particular blog. And that's the one that circulates to my Amazon page if you follow that. And that's also the one that is circulating to the Facebook page here, right? Now, some of you also know that I write pagan nonfiction, and under that I write as Sable Aradia, and that's my craft name as well as my pen name, so that's why I chose that. And I have a book that's traditionally published under that name. It's called The Witch's 8 Paths of Power, A Complete Course in Magic and Witchcraft, which was published by Red Wheel Wiser Books in 2014. And so you'll also see stuff on my page that promotes that. But the blog I use for that one is sablearadia.wordpress.com, and that's SableAradia. So if you're interested in that part of what I do, that's where you'll hear about that. I also post things there like links to other pagan bloggers that I find interesting, thought-provoking articles, stuff on pagan theology, stuff on pagan advocacy. You'll find that I do a lot of, I wouldn't call myself an activist because I rarely have time to go out to a protest, but I do have a lot of social issues that I feel very strongly about, and I support certain initiatives that tend to be more left-leaning, and they will occasionally find their way onto my websites when I think that my readers or the people in my community will be interested in being aware of these situations. So that's what you'll find on that one. And I also write for a multi-faith channel called Patheos.com. It's a multi-faith website, and you'll find different channels for different faiths. And there I have a blog called Between the Shadows, and you find that at www.patheos, and that's patheos.com/blog/Between the Shadows. All one word, no capitals, no spaces, just Between the Shadows. And there's where I'll work to write more. This is where I do my meaty writing for paganism that isn't going to make it into a book, and some of it might eventually make it into books that I'm writing in the future. So if that's what you're into, I would go there. Although I do syndicate that to my Sable Aradia blog as well. And I also write at Pagan Square, at the Witches and Pagans website, and there my blog is called 49 Degrees, A Canadian Pagan's Perspective, and that is let's see if I remember that particular. Well, you'll find it there on the website anyway. Go to witchesandpagans.com. And then along the side, you'll find links to, I think it's Culture Blogs is the heading, and mine is the first or second one that appears there because it uses the 49 number. And I write about things. I try to keep it very specific to Canadian paganism there, but, occasionally there's stuff that crosses over, so you'll find that there as well. I don't post as frequently there as I do to many of the other blogs. I'm only required to post there once a month, so generally that's what I do because I'm a pretty busy person. I contribute to a lot of other blogs as well. I'm not going to get into those right now. You can generally find those links here and there. I write for a Spelljammer fan fiction site. I'm one of the people who maintains that site. That's spelljammerblog.wordpress.com. If you're into that. I have my own blog for geeky stuff. I was looking to retire that and maybe move it all to the Diane Morrison blog, but I don't know if that's going to happen realistically because a lot of things are much more suited to that blog, and that's called geekqueenblog.wordpress.com. As you can see, I like WordPress as a format. Right? And that's about, it's called Confessions of a Geek Queen. And that's where I'll write about things like role-playing games. I'll syndicate stuff about pop culture. I'm a fangirl who's into Trek, Star Wars, superheroes. I share information about Doctor Who, but I'm not as up on it as I am on other things. The science fiction series that I read. I'm a fan of the Honorverse series, so I write about that. So I do a lot of different things online. I guess that since there's a lot to remember here, I'll just go back to, if you're interested specifically in my writing, it's DianeMorrison.wordpress.com. And that's what I have to say about my blogs. So if you get a chance, check them out. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.